Welcome to another episode of the Backstop Podcast. I'm your host, Ovi1. You could check me out here on the YouTube channel by subscribing and following our podcast. And of course, we're represented by the Hard Hitting Wrestling Show, the HHWshow.com. Man, there's plenty of baseball happening. And of course, it is still a long season. We've just finished the month of April. First week of May is about to be completed. And the Red Sox, well, they ended up winning 8 in a row before it's getting shut down by the Philadelphia Phillies here on Sunday to stop that winning streak. But there's a lot to go by with the Red Sox so far. A slow start, and they're beginning to get that jiggle jigger. That's what I'm gonna call it, a jiggle jigger, right? Because now it's showing that they're improving, they're getting it, and they're no longer in the basement. But our rival, man, they have a harder task than us. So let's go ahead and tune in to what's going on. And once again, welcome to the show. And let's look at the standings right now because Tampa Bay, they're hot, man. 80% victories. And they continue, man. The run differential 115, but that's what expected when you're winning so many games this early. And it doesn't seem like the Rays are slowing down, but unfortunately, it will be. And for them being at 28 wins and 7 losses, they only are 5.5 games up in first place. But hey, the Baltimore Orioles are hot, even though they lost 2 in a row. The Toronto Blue Jays, they're winning 3 in a row. But the Boston Red Sox have won 8 of the last 10 games. And yes, winning 8 in a row. They're climbing right up. And instead of being in the double digits behind the Rays, they're closing in. They're at 7.5. But our rivals, New York Yankees, that's good news for us, right? Because again, even though they have a winning record at 18 and 17, but they seem to be struggling. But for the Red Sox, they're finding good ways to win outside the American League East. And that is the concern moving on forward. Looking at the batting average, as you can see, Matt Chapman for Toronto is batting at 349. He's in first place. And home runs, Rafael Devers leading the way with 11 home runs. And Brent Rooker from Oakland, he has 10. But if you look at it in the American League East, Randy Ozarena, he's doing fabulous. Jenny Diaz. I mean, the American League East is representing, okay, on both sides. And I'm sorry, Masakaka Yoshida. I think I messed that name up, and I'm sorry. I keep every time I try to read that name, I might as well call him MY. Is that safe to say? I believe so. But look, Yoshida is getting hot as well. He's proven that he is a worthy. A lot of people were questioning, like, who is this guy, man? This guy can't even swing a bat. And all of a sudden now he's on a hot streak and he's batting a 321. Let's compare to last year and this year's stuff because let me tell you, man, the standings. Look, last year the Yankees were in the lead. Look at this. There's some similarities that's going on here, right? At this time frame last year, the Yankees were almost closely winning 80% of their games. They were 18 and 7. The Tampa Bay Rays, they're right there, 28 and 7. The Boston Red Sox were dead in the basement at 10 and 18. But if you fast forward to June 30th of that year, the Boston Red Sox were on a hot streak in the month of May and June, right? And they ended up being in second place behind the Yankees despite being 2.5 back. Now, if you look at it today, could possibly happen moving on forward by June 30th? Can the Red Sox climb up and get close to the Tampa Bay Rays? That's what I'm hoping for moving on, and I'm confident that the Red Sox can. But there is only one hiccup, and I will tell you that momentarily. Let's look at the pitcher side of the house. Shane McClanahan from Tampa Bay has the most wins right now with 6. Garrett Cole with 5. And Kyle Gibson for the Baltimore Orioles. Man, he has 4 wins. Very rare did we ever talk about the Orioles, but they are for real this year. And Nathan Eovaldi, a former Red Sox player, he's man, he is doing so well with the Rangers. Again, it's crazy how we are letting go our star players to other teams, and he's still doing good. On the other side, we got the ERAs. Garrett Cole leading the way. right? And again, Shane McClanahan from Tampa Bay, his ERA is 2.03. Awesome pitching staff they got there in the Rays. That's going to be dangerous. And maybe they could repeat themselves by going back to the World Series. Look at the batting averages. Listen, they're just really compared to the batters and the pitchers of the Boston Red Sox, okay? Because, again, going back to what I was saying, I'm hopeful that the Red Sox can make it over there, get close to the Rays, but there is a hiccup, and I will tell you right now, in the batting average, they're in second place. Home runs, they're on fifth. Top dogs, man. RBIs, third. You know, home runs come with RBIs. Total bases, second. Runs scored, second. And when I tell you that they're in second, you know who's in first place? The Tampa Bay Rays are leading that category. On the other side is the concern. ERA, they're ranked 23rd in Major League Baseball. Saves, they're 7th, which is okay. But the quality starts from our starting pitchers, 23rd. That is the big concern here, because how can we rely on our pitching staff to get better and better? At this point, they should be dominant. Look, they can't even barely strike out batters that they're like mid-average at 14th. And their opposing batting average, that the opposing team do hit against the Red Sox. We're ranked 21st. So what has to happen for Chain Bloom to realize, listen, I got what I have. It's time to make some moves. Let's not wait until the trade deadline to make some moves. I think it has to be done now, or let's recognize what's going on in the farm system. And quite frankly, you know, the farm system is not too pretty either. So something's got to give for the Red Sox to get a chance to get back in the playoffs and get back into the World Series. Let's look at the rest of the league in the American League here. And we got the Minnesota Twins leading at first place in the Central. And in the West, the Texas Rangers and the Los Angeles Angels. I mean, man, these guys are doing it up there. And very rarely, I mean, most of the time we're talking about the Houston Astros leading the way in the West. Not this year. The Rangers and Angels are just neck to neck right now, but could it last? I'm going to tell you right now, I am picking the Texas Rangers to win the West, because you have the manager, Bruce Bochy, that is a three-time World Series champion, 2010, 2012, 2014, all three done with the San Francisco Giants. On the other side, Angels, Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, and Anthony Rendon. Those are the three highest paid players in the Angels. Can they finally get it done this year? Right? They have nothing worthy of saying that they made it close to the World Series. They got to know the playoffs. Can the Angels finally do it this season? I mean, if they don't make it, and especially Shohei Ohtani is going to be a free agent after this season, there's a lot of questions as to what's going to happen with the Angels. All right, looking out the schedule for the Red Sox. Again, if you look at the first week, man, dominate against the Blue Jays and the Phillies. And, of course, on Sunday, May 7th, the Red Sox fall 6-1. It's all right. They'll rest up for Monday and get ready for a 2-game series at Atlanta. And I'm excited for this, because being at Atlanta, it's almost like a home field advantage for the Red Sox, because there are so many Red Sox Nation living in Atlanta, Georgia. And, of course, in the weekend, they'll be hosting the St. Louis Cardinals. Still plenty of baseball, a lot of improvements going on. But my concern is, if the bats are swinging, let's make sure that our pitching are doing the same. We need strong starting pitchers. Can we get that? Could that be a near-term goal for the Red Sox to make that happen? Get them 6 to 7 innings strong, and that way we could rest our bullpen, because we need some quality starts, man. And it's got to start right now.
Thank you so much for listening to OB's Backstop Podcast, part of the CMG Sports Podcast Network. For more, visit hhwshow.com.